just how they line up for the first of 3 races this weekend. He has Gavin Bullis alongside him, a 2-time event winner here. And it's an all-star cast on row 2. Now, Eddie Abel-Nisa dropped a valve. That's why we saw him pull up down the back straight. He's a no-show for this race, and maybe the rest. Andrew Miedeke will be outside him on row 3. And over the page we go, the Porsche. That might be not a bad little car to be in around Winton when it matters. Rowan Little, we saw a Porsche qualify in the second row last year. And behind them we have a mixture of Pro-Am racers and Pro Sport drivers as well. 24 cars qualified, but I guess it'll just be the 23 then without our points leader. Okay, side by side for a rolling start, and Gavin Bullis playing some games already, showing him the nose of the Mustang, saying, remember these things? You used to drive them. John Bowie's first ever race in a Holden. It's time to go racing at Winton Motor Raceway, round 3 of the NZ Touring Car Masters, the Rolling Thunder, the rolling start as they near the start-finish line. We'll wait for the green flag. Can Bullis get the jump and win that race down towards turn 1? He needs to, because that SLR 5000 is so much quicker than every other car in the field. Here we go.
Off and running. JB's got the jump. You can see straight away he's onto it. He's seen the flag go, and he's down the inside. Gavin pushes hard to stay around the outside. Oh. JB gives, there's a bit of dust, dirt. Cars going everywhere in the background.
Off goes the Porsche. Karen Filosky takes a shortcut. Hunter was involved with that one as well. Our points leader in the Pro Sports category, Yulden on the curbs, avoids contact. They're still brawling a bit further back. Oh, I think Gomasol's got issues because he couldn't turn in down there at turn 3. And look at them all spraying off into the gravel, including Tilly. He's going the long way. I think that's Tobin as well. And unfortunately for Gomasol, he's just wounded that Stone Brothers Racing Tirana. Bad news for one Tirana, good news for another. John Bow leading through the first half, the first lap of the first race.
Was one of the challenges here at Winton Raceway. That front straight goes from about 4 wide into about 2 wide. It narrows as you get down to turn 1, and it's often that we have that little bit of contact that can cause dramas into turn 1, but it was clean right at the start. JB got the jump straight away. First gear or second gear, it's always a hard thing in these types of cars to work out what gear you should start in a rolling start, but he's got it right, and away he goes.
Oh dear.
You can see the damage there. A bit of steering damage as well, a bit of front damage, a bit of bonnet damage. So it made it very hard for Jason to be able to turn that car.
Oh, locked right rear down at turn 11. But we're going to tick off that first lap, and despite the chaos down at turn 1, we remain green. Let's relive exactly what happened. Now look in the background. Gomasol couldn't pull up. The big Tirana goes up the back of Karen Filosky. And there was the contact between Hunter and Gomasol that damaged the left front, and Ron Little was nowhere to be seen. Riding on board with Palmer. He did a pretty good job staying out of all the dramas by the looks of things, but they all ended up spearing off down here at turn 3. Goes around Karen Filosky. Now that pacer of Tilly's is about to head out towards the gravel. Oh! Bit of a slam dunk. That was heavier contact than we first thought, I think, Jason.
Yeah, look, obviously right up over. You can see the front tyre hanging out in the Tirana there. So obviously that little bit of damage from the contact with Hunter's Monza down in turn 1. You can see here that Tilly's trying to turn, and Jason Gomasol just goes straight ahead, basically.
Oh. See, Leo Tobin in the Pro Sports category thought that he might be able to pick up 1 or 2 spots by going around the outside. It bit him, and as a result, he had an excursion off to the gravel. Actually went down during free practice 3 for the V8s and had a walk around that part of the racetrack. Super spot to sit down and watch some V8 supercars or some old school touring cars roar around as they go through that complex of 1 and 2, the change of direction. Great little venue, Winton Motor Raceway.
So whilst JB was certainly the man to beat in qualifying, he had a big gap on the field in racing conditions. A little bit different. Gavin Bullis is going with him at the moment. So Gavin Bullis actually was the quickest car on that lap, and then Andrew Miedike's gone a little bit quicker again. So, but the gap is not that big. It's only 6-7 tenths of a second. And JB's not really driving away like he looked like he was going to after qualifying, that's for sure.
Mark Hinton with a big look at the inside of the Jesus Racing XY Falcon GT of Andrew Fisher. A bit of a logjam starting to form up behind Fisher's big famous car. King was going to have a look at turn 5. That's not the spot to do it.
He's backed out of that one. It could have been an ugly place. You really can't get up the inside there. but you can set yourself up for a pass move down the inside as he has a look, and he chooses to pull out of it again on Fisher. So Mark King, certainly the quicker car there, is trying to find a way. It's a difficult place to pass here at Winton. There's only really a couple of braking opportunities, and as we come down onto the back straight, turn 9, there's a braking opportunity coming up here for Mark King if he can get down the inside.
Is Fisher going to leave the door open? He does. Oh, and he also goes too hard under brakes.
So that's what you put a little bit of pressure on the driver in front. He makes that small mistake, and it handed that position to Mark King.
That was for 6th position. Yulden is going to come from downtown and use the curve to try and get the HQ turn through the mid part of the corner. Good racing. Holden v Ford. Oh. And Yulden lights the rears at the exit. The Mustang of Cameron Mason might pick up a spot here if he's clever about how he goes about it. This is good stuff.
It's good racing there from Fisher. He's given enough room that Yulden had to be a bit cautious. He tried to get on the gas and just lit the rears up. Couldn't get the job done.
Classic case of overdriving right now, I think, for Brett Yulden. Something that you put a big circle around in qualifying earlier. When you try hard around this place, it bites you. You can see he's faster than those guys in front of him. Oh, yeah. Once again, from outside turn 12, unsettled the car on the curb, and when he put his right foot down, look at the licorice straps that he leaves behind him. That's some good old school racing.
It's good racing. They're trying to give each other some room. They don't want to damage their cars. They want to race hard. There's a little bit of touch and that happens out there, but those guys, they try and do it nice and clean, and they do a really good job of it. Andrew Radecki, though, now putting some pressure on Glenn Seaton. So the little Mustang of Glenn Seaton, he's doing an awesome job there, sitting in P3. The front two just getting away a little. It's Andrew Radecki who's now going to try and find a way through. As I say, there's only a couple of real good passing opportunities, but there's not much difference between Glenn Seaton's Mustang and Andrew Radecki's Camaro there.
These two got together for a nasty accident in 2013 coming down Conrod Straight at Bathurst. Only that was Glenn Seaton in a GDHO Falcon on that occasion. Both drivers walked away from what was a very nasty spill. Here's that gap now, nearly out to a full second. And these two are starting to move away from Seaton and Miedeke, fighting for third. Two very different cars here. As the Camaro looks at turn 3. Had it all crossed up. Did a good job missing the back of that very well presented Mustang. Now riding on board with Leo Tobin. That's Rowan Little going wide at turn 3. So the Porsches not having the day out that they would have liked. Hard to see what exactly started all that.
Oh, look, what starts out, you just drop a wheel off the edge of the circuit and it drags the car off. So you're right on the limit there. You're using a third gear type corner. And all it takes is just one little wheel off in the dirt and it just drags the car straight off the circuit. And here's that little battle for third place for the podium spot. You can see that Andrew Radecki's a little bit quicker. He just can't find a way through.
Still Andrew Fisher's got very busy rearview mirrors here.
He's all hands and feet at the moment, isn't he? Hanging on to that big XY GT Falcon. Mason down the inside. Oh, he's looked at a bit of contact.
And off goes the Jesus Racing Falcon, and it has a distinct battle scar on the left front now. Fishtail won't be overly impressed with that. Mason limping back. Is he going to continue? Oh, I see smoke pouring off the side of Cameron Mason's car, and that is a sad-looking Falcon GT right now. Oh, dear.
And these cars are heavy metal, so when they do touch, they don't bounce off each other that well. They do bend guards and push front bumpers onto things and start rubbing tyres. So Brett Yulden was the big winner in that one. He just sat back and watched it all happen.
All right. As a judge, jury, and executioner that you are in V8 Supercars, yeah, not too hard to point the finger of blame.
No.
Fisher was leaving him more than enough room.
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate. You can see there that Mason, he's just locked the rears coming into it, and he's a bit of a passenger from there, but had a bit of a go, slightly misjudged that. He's come from a long way back, as you can see, bang into the side of Fisher.
Oh dear. And
just kept pushing him off the road. Fisher's obviously going to be a little bit disappointed with that, but Mason's struggling to continue going. In fact, he's still going out there on the circuit, but yeah, he's obviously got a bit of damage.
Trying to collect whatever points he can. It's awfully hard to pull up 1,400 kilograms of Mustang power. That's what caught him out down there. This very corner. Still Glenn Seaton doing a good job to fight off the advances of the Max White Line Racing Camaro. That's in behind him.
While those two are battling for P3, Glenn's pulled a little bit of a gap now. That's Jim Richards is actually starting to catch the back of them as well. He's done his fastest lap in the last lap. 10-lap race, you've got to try and get your tyre pressures right. So you work out when the car wants to come on. You've got to get the temperature right, the track temperature, and understand whether you want it to come on a little bit later. And it looks like John Bowe has set his car up to come on later in the race because he's now doing the fastest lap of the race. Just managing that gap well over Gavin Bullis. But the real battle's for third here. And there comes Jimmy Richards in that AMC Javelin, starting to close in on those two in front for P3.
Bowe and Bullis swapping the fastest laps in this race, but now John Bowe definitely has lowered the eyes through the specs and is turning some nice lap times to open up that gap. Just 1 second, and there's nothing that Bullis can do about it. Now here's a man who's been just sitting outside the top 10, Rusty French. Famous Sky Sand signage is back, but not on a Porsche. This time it's in a newly prepared Mustang. Australian Race Engineering in Adelaide has prepared this car for Rusty, co-owner with Rod Nash of Pro Drive Racing Australia. And with the full complement of leather door trimmings and everything, this car is immaculate. Well,
it's the sort of thing that you actually want to clear off the top of the mantelpiece at home and convince the wife you want to put it in the lounge room, because it's an absolutely gorgeous looking car. It's a show car, it's not a race car. It's presentation, it's quality of build. It's something to be in awe of. A lot of the V8 Supercar guys have been down checking it out and really respecting that car because it is gorgeous and it looks great on the racetrack as well.
Still Glenn Seaton holding on to third position. And look who's coming. Gentleman Jim in the big Javelin. He's closed that gap, this time by Jim Richards. 0.4 of a second quicker than Glenn Seaton. Give him one more lap and he's going to be on the back of Mad Andy's Camaro here.
He's just closing in slowly. I mean, look, it's obviously only 3 laps to go, so... And then Andrew's having another look at Glenn down the inside. Oh, the rear's locked. He's trying to work out a way through, pushing to the limit, and the brake balance is obviously set up so the rear of that car is a little bit heavier in the brakes at the moment, because every time he has a look, it starts to lock the rear. Exactly what happened to Mason earlier on. There goes Greg Crick through. So he's done a great job moving up through the field. He's now currently up to P8. He obviously started out at P17, so he's making the moves. You can see Andy there. He's, lock the rears, don't hit him.
It's tough, isn't it? Because it's a downhill approach there. More so than you would believe watching on the TV screens. Let's have a look at this one again from down at turn 3. Nice car control. So just back it in there and live to fight another day.
As a driver, you get to a point where you think, yes, this is on. Oh, no, this is not. You try and back out of it and do the best you can. And it makes it difficult when you're on the dirty side of the racetrack as well, because it's such a tight, twisted little circuit. Not many cars run off on the racing line. So once you get off the racing line, the grip's a little bit less and it makes it a little bit more difficult. Although Glenn's seen there locking the brake as he's run a bit wide. There's oil or something on the circuit.
Yeah, they all missed the turn in quite markedly down there at turn 11. I don't know if that was tyre smoke from Glenn Seaton's car, because there was a little bit of smoke out the back of it also. Down towards the exit of turn 12. Oil, yeah, I think there is oil because it's all on. Oh, not the new Mustang. Karen Filofsky avoids Rusty French. He's getting out of there in a hurry. Like a scene out of the movie Bullet. He's a goner.
There's no oil flags out there at the moment. I'm trying to look across from our commentary position to see what the flag marshals are holding out, but they're not. So there's clearly something on the circuit. There's cars locking up everywhere down to turn 11 at the moment. So you can see we've got a picture of, that's Greg Crick's run wide. Yilden's off the road.
So that's disappointing. He was inside the top 5 there, so he's lost a lot of spots. And there goes Rusty French. Welcome back to Touring Car Masters, Rusty.
I think if he scratches that car, there'll be fans jumping the fence and come and bash him on the head. I won't be happy with him scratching that's for sure.
Thankfully, we didn't see any contact between those two beautiful Mustangs, and the Sky Sands Stang spun it around and got back on track. This Mustang's chasing. It's closed to get that gap within a second, but can he do anything? And is John Bowe going to be wary of the oil, because Bullis wasn't? Hey, there's the mid-corner speed. Wow, he just threw it in there.
Good recovery. We thought he was in trouble there. With only 2 laps remaining, he's pushing hard to try and catch. JB, and obviously has caught whatever's on the circuit, which is catching a few of the drivers out.
Now, this gap is opening up, isn't it, between Seaton, Medicki and Richards. They've spreaded quite evenly across now.
Unless that was Glenn's car that was leaking a bit of oil there earlier and everyone else has followed through, because the gap now behind Glenn Seaton's car has dropped right back. Jim Richards has dropped right back off the back of Medecki as well. So, yeah, clearly maybe it might have been that smoke we saw, that puff of smoke we saw out of the back of
these guys
Freestone running wide as well. Running out the back of Glenn's car earlier.
You've got one man who's a proud Camaro driver and has raced many models of Chev across the year, and Paul Freestone chasing down one of Mopar's favourite sons in this country, Greg Crick. Broke a gearbox in practice, so he's running on his number 2 gearbox, probably why he hasn't been topping the timesheets at the moment. And it's hard to see exactly who's going to take over the championship lead right now. Cricky's probably done enough to hold on to that top spot now that Abel Nisa hasn't come out for this first race. And how about this? He's won in Camaros, he's won in a Ford Mustang. Never in his career has he won in a Holden. And I'm not just talking about Touring Car Masters, I'm talking broad brush across his vast experience. And now, for the first time, with a 100% win record, I might add, John Bauer, one of Ford's favourite sons, rounds the last corner at Winton Motor Raceway to win his first race in a Holden. It's Gary O'Brien's Tirana, wins it in a canter. Checkered flag is out. Congratulations to John Bauer, his first win of the season. And just like last year, Bugs, it comes at Winton Motor Raceway.
Oh, it's very exciting, isn't it, for Gary O'Brien as well to build that brand new race car. Debut it here this weekend. JB's put it on pole and shown a clean set of heels to the rest of the field. Gavin Bullis did a great job trying to keep up, trying to catch JB, but when it really come down to it, JB's just stretched the legs of that little Tirana, and he's done the fast lap of the race as well. And pretty impressive job by the John Bauer on that Tirana.
It's the 4th different race winner for season 2015 in NZ Touring Car Masters. And he did that one fairly easily. Can he back it up in their second race tomorrow? There it is, 1.5 seconds in the end. Glenn Seaton did a great job, didn't he, holding off those hard charges behind him, Medicki and Richards, wrapping up the top 5.